We've canceled a $300,000 contract educating on food justice for queer and transgender farmers in San Francisco. We canceled another contract out of a university in the middle of the country that focused on getting more diversity, equity, and inclusion into our pest management industry. Again, these are nonsensical. It makes zero sense to use taxpayer dollars to fund these. Prices of eggs under the 4 years of Joe Biden increased 237%. 237% in those 4 years, and yet it wasn't covered in the press at all. No one talked about the price of eggs.
Secretary Brooke Rollins spoke out about canceled contracts at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, criticizing the use of taxpayer money for projects she deemed unnecessary. Among the contracts she highlighted, one was a $300,000 initiative aimed at educating queer and transgender farmers about food justice in San Francisco, and another $600,000 contract focused on studying the menstrual cycles of transgender men in Louisiana. Rollins called these projects nonsensical, questioning their value. She also pointed to a diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative in pest management as an example of wasted funds. In a separate remark, Rollins addressed rising egg prices under President Biden, which had surged 237% during his administration. However, she mentioned that a recent plan to lower prices led to a significant 53% drop in wholesale egg prices, showing progress in tackling food costs.
I think the first thing that's really remarkable to note is that the prices of eggs under the 4 years of Joe Biden increased 237%. 237% in those 4 years, and yet it wasn't covered in the press at all. No one talked about the price of eggs in the summer of last year, for example, from the media. So, of course, the president wins and he is inaugurated, and the next day everyone is yelping about why the price of eggs are so high. So it was certainly one of many, many issues we took on under the 4 years of Joe Biden. We had the cost of input go up 30% for all of our agriculture products. At the same time, the trade deficit increased $49 billion. So it was zero under the first Trump administration, and then under Joe Biden, we sold $49 billion less of our ag products around the world. Then you combine that with the avian bird flu, and I know I've talked to a lot of you in the press on this over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But listen, here's the deal. The president, under his vision and support, we released about a month ago a very significant plan on how to bring the price of eggs down. It included 5 prongs. I won't go into it now because I don't want to bore everyone, but since that day, since we released that plan regarding biosecurity, repopulation, importing eggs, research, and then deregulating, taking those onerous rules off of our farmers, our egg-laying farmers, since that time, the price of eggs, the wholesale price of eggs, has come down 53%. So we're going to keep working on it. Listen, it's not something you solve overnight. Avian bird flu and some of the other animal diseases, we're working across the government, several partners out in the cabinet on that, especially my friend Secretary Kennedy over at HHS. But we have a long-term solution, but at least for now, in the short term, thanks to President Trump and so many that have worked so hard, the price of eggs are coming down, as well as the price of groceries. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity to lead on that.